scared, nervous, shocked. When they say cancer, the whole world's turned upside down.
Everyone probably thinks cancer is an old people's disease. I didn't know any other teenagers that had cancer.
I knew the word cancer, but cancer equals death, really.
Every day in the UK, 6 young people are told they have cancer.
You feel angry, you ask, why has this happened to me? What have I done? I used to ask that all the time.
Before I was diagnosed, I was an all-round sportsman. All of that was just destroyed throughout just that one illness.
1 minute life's about music, college and hanging out with mates. The next it's on hold and you're in a hospital ward, frightened and isolated.
I was treated on a children's ward. This ward wasn't for teenagers really, because there was many young children in there, like babies.
I felt isolated because I was the only 16-year-old on the ward. You know, everyone else was, 60, 70, 80.
Teenage Cancer Trust understands that young people with cancer require specialist care. So they fund and build specialist units in NHS hospitals. They bring together young people with cancer so we can support each other and be treated by teenage cancer experts in an environment tailored to our needs.
When I moved to Teenage Cancer Trust Unit, I was more happy because there was many people there my age going through the same things.
Friendships form really easily and you just relax around each other a lot more and you have a bit more in common, you just sort of chill.
There was a pool table, game machine, and we used to talk about our illnesses.
Everyone was going through the same thing. We all near enough looked the same with all our bald heads.
They understand what it is like to be a teenager. They treat you like a teenager and they help you with everything really during your treatment.
Teenage Cancer Trust units aren't like ordinary cancer wards. Everything about them is designed to give teenagers and young adults the very best quality of life and chances of survival. Teenage Cancer Trust wants every young person in this country to have that chance.
Everybody on that ward had a smile on their face. That just made me happy. It was even so welcoming.
It's like a home from home. Although you don't want to be there at such a traumatic time in your life, you have to go through these things at hospital. Compared to a normal ward, it's 100 times better. If adults could get in, they would.
As well as units, Teenage Cancer Trust funds a number of different services designed to provide the best possible care and support for young people. This includes support for family and friends, research into cancers that affect teenagers and young adults, professional training and education for the staff that treat us, and collaboration with experts around the world. Teenage Cancer Trust's free education programme visits schools and colleges to talk about cancer and how to recognise the signs and symptoms. And the annual conference, Find Your Sense of Tumour, brings teenagers and young adults together to share our experiences and learn more about our disease.
I just finished my law degree, which is great, which I'm really proud of, and I passed with a 2-1.
Going to sixth form, where I'm going to be doing maths, economics, chemistry and textiles.
I think going through like cancer and stuff, you just want to be the best you can be, and you don't really want to be held back.
Hopefully just having lots of fun, taking every opportunity that I can because I missed out on a lot during that year.
If an opportunity arises, then I'll seize it with both hands and do what I've got to do. I don't really tell me no, because I'm just going to do it more.
I would believe in myself to become a footballer in the next 5 years.
Really, I'm just a usual teenager, I suppose. Just because it's terminal, I'm not going to go, right, bugger it. More life than thinking about dying, isn't there?
Everything Teenage Cancer Trust does makes sure young people, like me, don't have to stop being young just because we have cancer. We need your help to do this.
Teenage Cancer Trust means to me so much more than just the name and the ward. It means progression and it means growth.
They've given me more courage and they've given me more determination to become what I want to become. They've inspired me to live my dream.
Teenage Cancer Trust exists to improve the quality of life and the chances of survival for young people with cancer. Teenage Cancer Trust, helping young people fight cancer.
When I got the results of the biopsy and the MRI scan, it showed a mass in my stomach. It was probably the whole length of my pelvic floor, so it was in between my womb and my bladder and my bowel. It turned out that I had a Ewing sarcoma tumour. This is typically bone cancer, but mine was in the soft tissue in between those organs. You can't rationalise your feelings, it's just all a bit of a mess, just spinning round in your head the word cancer over and over again.
Just looking at Charlotte as she got the recognition of what I'd been told, seeing her cry, and then suddenly she just, after about 5 minutes of a couple more questions, got up out of the room and said she couldn't take it. As her dad, you just can't believe it.
I just broke down. I was in the car park on the phone to my boyfriend. I remember ringing him up and just saying, you know, James, it's cancer. I was scared. I was scared that I was going to lose my relationships. I was scared that I was going to lose who I was. I was scared that I was going to die.
I was awaiting a phone call from my dad. He phoned me and told me to come home straight away, and I just instantly knew that something was wrong. I came home and he was stood at the end of the drive and he looked at me and just said that it's cancer.
I was just in my room and I was sat on my bed and my sister just came in and we just sat and cried. She just held me and that was it, we just cried. Coming to terms with it, I think going onto the ward made a massive difference. I was on Ward 94, the Teenage Cancer Trust ward, and I saw young people like me with cancer. Obviously they looked different, the hair had already fallen out, but the thing that I remember was that they were happy and they were still smiling. To me, the two didn't equate, like you couldn't be happy and have cancer. And I think that that's when I really came to terms with things, and I knew that I was ill, but I knew that I was going to be okay. You know, it was a place where I could relax. It was a place where they looked after me. They really are just amazing at what they do. They're so well trained at administering all the chemotherapy and just dealing with teenagers, just people, young people that are going through cancer. It's essentially a youth club. You know, you take away the treatment, you take away the fact that everyone has cancer, that we're all bald and attached to drips, then it's just essentially a group of friends hanging out, and that's what it felt like. I mean, unfortunately, some of them aren't here anymore, and a few that I know are coming to the end of their lives as well. But it is a place full of happiness at times, and a place where you build very close friendships. And a place that you lose friendships as well. The Teenage Cancer Trust, they show you that the stuff that cancer can't destroy. It can't destroy your faith or, you know, your friendship or your love. It can't really take away your happiness if you choose not to let it. Being back at university is absolutely amazing. I'm finally thinking about my future because I've been allowed to think about my future now because I'm in remission. It just feels really good to be back to normality, really. Me here talking to you now, telling you my story is my way of giving back. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not in the position where I can physically run a marathon. However, saying that, my dad and my sister are both running the marathon on my behalf this year, which is absolutely amazing, for Teenage Cancer Trust. But I wanted to give something back, and this is my way and my opportunity. The Teenage Cancer Trust supported me through the hardest time of my life. There's young people out there today that need that same support, so please make a donation.
At 16, Dom Deachem was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a rare form of bone cancer.
I was 16. It doesn't happen to 16-year-olds. Cancer's an old man's disease. You don't get it when you're 16.
Whilst recovering on the unit, Dom found comfort in playing his guitar.
something the Teenage Cancer Trust encouraged him to do.
And it was fantastic because I was able to lose myself in the music. Because you can't focus on the tiredness, the sickness, the situation you're in at all. And for a short amount of time, you're just taken out of it completely.
Dom has been invited to talk about his experience at concerts for Teenage Cancer Trust at the Royal Albert Hall.
Let me introduce you to Dom, who is one of our patients who's been through it.
Hello, Albert Hall! You know, I had 11 months of treatment, I had chemotherapy, and it was quite hard at times. You know, it's not particularly pleasant.
This sort of event is hugely important for people to be made aware of how much of a difference they make to teenagers and young adults' lives.
Thanks to the work of Teenage Cancer Trust, I didn't lose a year to cancer. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, and I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Oh, that was awesome. I was on stage at the Albert Hall with Roger Daltrey, he was out there. Okay, that's a fantasy fulfilled right there. Okay, that was awesome.
My name is Amy Quinn. I am 20 years old and I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer when I was 19. I remember it sort of started with extreme tiredness, like nothing like you've ever been before. I also had a really persistent pain in my side, which was really uncomfortable all the time. I probably went to the GP about 5-6 times before I was sent for my scan. When I had the scan, sure enough, like the doctor said, there was a small cyst in my left ovary, but I didn't think that was all that was causing the problems because it was something so insignificant. And I was given a talk by Teenage Cancer Trust at my school, and I remember them saying that you had to be really persistent. When I had the operation, I asked the surgeon if he could have, you know, a little bit of a look around. I conveyed my worry to him. Inside he found some other stuff, and then I went to meet the doctor, and at this point I'd already said to my dad, look, I think I actually have cancer, and he thought it was insane and I was over exaggerating, but that is what it was. Once he said it, I didn't really listen to any of the rest of the conversation, to be honest. To other young people, I would say that they also have to be as persistent as I was, even though it's probably nothing. It's better to be checked out and be safe than sorry.
Having cancer is life-changing.
Having cancer is difficult, but I'm coping with it at the moment.
I had complications, so I was blind and paralysed.
Having cancer is surreal and very difficult.
Without doubt, one of the hardest things, the toughest challenge of my life.
The worst thing about cancer is that it puts your life on hold.
You lose all your independence. It's much worse being a teenager because that's the time when you're supposed to be having fun with your friends and enjoying life.
The worst thing about having cancer was probably losing my hair.
The worst thing is missing out on my education.
The worst thing about having cancer is getting to know quite a few people and losing them.
Teenage Cancer Trust is an amazing charity that helps people like me to cope with their cancer.
Teenage Cancer Trust is like a second family to me.
The best thing about being treated on a Teenage Cancer Trust unit is that the staff and the nurses are so good at looking after you.
Being around people of the same age and how it was like a family.
You're able to get up and do things for yourself, not rely on other people.
Thank you. Your support is inspirational.
Everything you do is helping to transform the lives
of young people just like me.
You really are making a difference.
No other charity
does what Teenage Cancer Trust does.
So your support is massively important.
There's loads of ways you can still get involved.
And do more. Have more fun.
Raise more money.
Help more young people like me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.